What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. It is Monday, and again, this is out today around like noonish or so because I wanted to get my Game of Thrones episode up, the House of the Dragon, episode 2. The spoiler review is up. We still will be talking about that today on the show for sure with Brett Sheridan, who's been watching. He's got, hey, listen, this guy's 2 episodes in to House of the Dragon. Holy moly. So we got that going on. There's Fantastic Four rumors might have gotten the cast. Now I don't know if we're going to find out if it's if we have Mr. Fantastic or Johnny Storm or whoever, but there's rumors, and that's going to happen. But the major news on today's show, for the first, is that we are going to be welcoming Drea de Matteo to the show. I did a virtual interview with her. She has a new movie called One Way. Machine Gun Kelly, Kevin Bacon, and of course, Drea de Matteo. We talked about that. We definitely talked about The Sopranos. We talked about a lot of other things that she's got going on. Really, really cool person. Very excited for you guys to see that. That'll be a little later in the episode. And then, also a little later in the episode, we're going to reveal the Schmoedown Spectacular, the last card we're ever going to do. I'm going to debut all the matches here today. We have some plans for the studio also that I want to go over and talk to you guys about and get your thoughts in the comment section, and we'll tell you kind of how that came to be, the evolution of the studio thus far and what we've been doing. So a lot going on already on a Monday. So let's do it. It's myself. It's Brett. It's the big thing, everybody. Let's do it. Come on. Welcome back, one and all. Ladies and gentlemen, Pinocchio. Yeah, there he is.
Hey, Geppetto.
We just watched the first one, my daughter and I.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the little one.
You freak her out?
No. The kid's Joe Pesci, man.
That's right.
I'm telling you, she is.
She was like more donkey.
More donkeys. the oldest one, she wouldn't even watch it because of that. Right, and was terrified because of it. But the younger one, I'm showing her. I'm like, "Hey, did the donkey scare you?" She, no, Dad, didn't scare me. At one point, she's like, "This is boring. Turn it off." And I'm like, "You want me to turn it off?" She's like, "No." And then we get a little deeper into it. She's like, "I don't know. I'm kind of bored. Yeah, you want me to turn it off?" No. And then I go, "I gotta pick up Vivi from karate. So." You want me to turn it off and you watch something else, or you want to finish it? She goes, I want to finish it. So she's like, now she's like, Dad, tell me more. Put on Nokia. Put on Nokia. She wants to watch Nokia.
Repeat.
Yeah, but now she wants to watch the live action. So the little one loved Nokia, and she wasn't scared at all about those donkeys. Speaking of donkeys, what's going on, man?
Yeah, look at that wide shot. It's got the guns in there.
It's got everything.
Yeah,
so,
and it's not my back fat.
No. What I love is that, you should be very proud of yourself. Look at this. We got people who are liking the new look. Now, this isn't even. We'll just might as well get into this now. This isn't even the overall look of what we're going to find. It's not the finale.
No,
is what it is. So Brett and I had a couple conversations, and I was like, "Look, man. For those people who don't know." When I left Collider in 2019, I was prepared to go on my own, do my own thing, and I thought that's what was going to happen. So I created the Schmoedown Entertainment Network and SEN Live and started doing the donation shows and all of that. And then Skybound Entertainment and I had a really good meeting, and they were very excited about the Schmoedown and other things, and they offered me a position as an executive over there as the vice president of digital content. And I was over there I still am there until September 1st, but then it's over. Then I'm going out on my own for sure. And they were great, and they were really, really supportive. And without them, we couldn't have done the Schmoedown as long as we did. But it's time for both of us to kind of move on, and we both agreed, and that's what I'm doing. But in order to do that, I don't want to just do, a show from. I don't want it to just. I know, even though it's coming from my garage, I don't want it to feel like that. I want it to look like a full-on studio. I want it to be a studio, and I want to have guests here. I want to be able to do a lot of things that it feels like that type of vibe that we're going for. I mean, hell, Mark Maron started his show from his damn garage. He still does it from his garage, and I think that there's a way to do it to where you can build it up. Now, look, the curtains We're going to replace it and do all those things. So this is what Brett and I kind of came up with, kind of going into it. We know what we want to do. We know what we want to make this studio look like. So what we decided is this. I put together an Amazon list. And so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the list itself up. I want to show you guys, first of all, of what it looks like now. This is what the studio kind of looks like now. So the wide shot is up on top. That's and right now it does look like, I mean, compared to what it did look like, Brett made this look tremendous. But you see the stuff on the left is
Your wife described it as a dorm room.
and she's not too far off. I mean, when Greg Alba came in here, he was like, it always looks like somebody's about to move in, right? And we want to get rid of that. But like, so the stuff on the wall and all that, it's all going to change, and the stuff on the bottom and the tables and all that. So what we decided is we're going to do this. As I mentioned with the Amazon list, people had asked in the past, they're gone, hey, listen, what can I do to help? And the answer is this. You can do something or you can do nothing. And it's really, it's what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this list up, and I'm going to look after a week. If somebody has donated to the studio and wants to, obviously we'll shout you out and put you in it. If you haven't, we're going to eventually get these things anyway. It's just a matter of time in getting them. It's not one of those things where it's like, oh, you got to get it or we're not going to. If nobody gets anything, then so be it. It's fine. People just ask, what can we do? And if you want to donate to the studio, you can. And so I'm just going to show everybody. This is kind of from priority on. I got this lighting system because the lighting we have now is okay, but I want to get real lights. It's the Stream Deck. These are the priority ones that we're going to get.
That's going to save your life.
The Stream Deck is what I have to do because I'm doing stuff with the mouse right now. It's driving me crazy. So that, obviously things, are surge protectors and headphones for sure. This paneling that you see up top, that's going to be in the back. There's going to be some monitors that we have. What the hell's the windshield? You put that on there. What is that?
I just thought these are starting to get a little crumbly.
Oh, for the microphones. Yeah. Okay, that makes a little more sense.
And
now I can see that.
I think I'm thinking of stuff right now. I think if we had a little monitor right there, it might be. But we'll be adding
stuff that we're going to add. So then obviously there's the cam link that helps connect everything. There's some chairs that I want to get more comfortable when people and guests come in here. Get rid of these. Thank God for Rachel Cushing when she did. She gave me a dining room table and chairs, but I got to get rid of these now. It's time to upgrade the studio altogether. And then there's these monitors. There's the floodlights.
Upright. Yeah.
Fridge for people. I never have drinks and stuff for people in here because my fridge broke, and so there's the fridge. And then this is the artwork stuff. This is some of my favorite stuff. There's a Rocky Apollo thing we're going to hang up. There's the Ninja Turtles, but it's not Ninja Turtles. It's the actual Donatello and Raphael and all that. There's the Pulp Fiction art for sure. There's the great John Belushi. There's Inception. There's this great thing, Billie Holiday. I love that picture. So Run the Jewels, which Brett and I both love. And then the last thing here is Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. There's the Dude. What's that? A table lamp and then an air purifier. And like I said, you guys can look at this and go, I'm not contributing shit to these motherfuckers. And that's fine. Yeah. You don't have to. We're going to eventually get all this stuff. It's just a matter of how long. If people are like, hey, you know what? Instead of joining the Patreon or instead of putting in a super chat today, and I'm gonna do that for you. Awesome. Again, not one of these things where it's like, do it because we can't survive. We're going to evolve this studio one way or another, but people have asked, hey, what could we do? Well, that's what you can do. If you don't want to, you don't have to. It's not one of these things like, hey, please. We're going to get these things eventually, but it's up there if you want to contribute.
And let me say, some of the stuff may seem like, well, what do I need that? We're just playing around. We're having fun, those little globe lights. And I'm like, what if I did LED around the thing?
Want to make it look as good as possible. Yeah. And
it's fun, might look stupid. I don't know.
100%. There's all these things, like I said, that's why the stuff on there is in priority. Like the lights in the Stream Deck, those we're gonna get
top two. Yeah.
Now, if someone donates it, wonderful. If not, I'll be getting it next week. Because I have to. I can't to click. You guys don't see what I do. I'm taking a mouse and clicking. It's a pain in the ass. And now that to do this, I'm not really gonna have an engineer. I'm the engineer. I'm doing the thumbnails. I'm doing the producing of the shows. I'm doing everything. So it's going to be a lot of fun, though, man. I'm excited about it, and Brett's been helping out a lot. And as you see in that first shot that I showed you, it looks fine and it looks good right now, but we want it to look amazing. So anyway, the link is in the description. I put an iCard during that whole presentation. If you want to go over there and check out the list, you can. It's available. All right, let's move on, though. I want to get to some of this stuff, though. This Fantastic Four news. I want to start with that. So they're definitely going to announce the Fantastic Four at D23. We're right around the corner now to Fantastic Four. And Penn Badgley, is this that dude from that Netflix series? I think so. I think he is.
Badgley.
I don't know.
Penn Badgley Jr.
This is from the direct.com. Almost no MCU movie has been a part of more fan discussions as of late than the Fantastic Four, which is officially confirmed to open Phase 6 during Marvel Studios' San Diego Comic-Con presentation. And now, with WandaVision director Matt Shankman reportedly in talks to be the film's director, attention towards for the cast. Krasinski brought the MCU's first Final Four member to life with his portrayal of Reed Richards in Doctor Strange 2, but after fulfilling many fans' wishes, it seems unlikely he will return to play the Earth 616 version of Mr. Fantastic in the MCU's F4 solo movie. Kevin Feige explained that the team would look for the best actor for the job for Fantastic Four, regardless of popularity, with the search for the right stars being an extensive one. But now a recent report indicates that Marvel might have their eye on at least one member of that high-profile cast. Former Birth Movies Death editor-in-chief Devin Faraci revealed on the Marvel Vision podcast that Marvel Studios has spoken with Penn Badgley to star as Reed Richards, a.k.a. Mr. Fantastic and Fantastic Four, which will premiere in theaters on November 8th. Krasinski played a now-deceased variant of Richards. I've always said that. This is going to be very traditional. I've been stumping for a black Reed Richards. I think John David Washington would be an incredible Reed Richards. I mean, I've been stumping for this forever, and I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to get a black Reed Richards. It's going to be traditional, is my guess. That's what Faraci says. According to Faraci, Marvel Studios has been eyeing such actors as Badgley in particular for the role of Reed Richards. The guys that they've been talking to about it are all white guys. That guy, Penn Badgley from the show, that's the show, who probably has the role already. So they're going to do... it looks like that they're going for this guy for Mr. Fantastic, old school. I think he's got a good look for Mr. Fantastic, to be honest, especially if you're going to use... It seems like they're going to be doing this thing where... Well, I always thought... Because I never thought Krasinski was going to do it. Even when they brought him, I thought it was a fan casting thing, and then I thought maybe he had a shot to direct it, but I never thought he would star in it, because if they're going to do so much with Fantastic Four, which they should, one... I don't know how long you can really lock down Krasinski to a contract inside of Marvel, how established he is. And two, I think he's like early 40s, like 42 or whatever he is. If you want to expand on it, you get someone like this guy who's in his early 30s, and you go until and you push 10 years in, so when he closes out the roles, he's in his 40s. I think that just makes more sense. What do you think?
You don't put an old horse in a new race, man.
How did that happen?
Well, you know what I did? I told you the wrong because I'm running camera.
There you are.
And I'm like, I keep noticing things, and this is everybody bear with us, because I'm like, you've got too much headroom right now. You know, but it's running this. It's that one man band thing.
That's what we're doing. Well, it's a 2-man band. It's a 2-man band. It's a 2-man band. And I should say that up top, by the way. Like, yes, I am going to be doing a lot of the stuff on the tech side of things when it comes to running it, thumbnails, producing the show. Brett has been really a one-man band. He was here all day on Saturday, making this look as good as it could right now, enough to impress my 5-year-old. So nice. She's like, oh, okay. But yeah. So as Brett is looking around, as we're talking about Fantastic Four, he's still thinking about how to make it look better. So, but anyway.
Did you see? Well, of course you had. It's on the Clip Outs channel when we fan casted Fantastic Four. I don't know who edited it together where they put the things up above on SN Live. We did it. It was hilarious because we all picked people.
Who did you take?
Oh, I did. I started out with like Army Hammer. I said I'm going to use all canceled actors and producers and things. But a lot of people had some great choices and stuff. This gentleman, I don't believe popped up.
No, and it's always, and I do think I think he's got a great look for it for sure, and they're going traditional. I'm okay with that. I think that it's going to be an interesting cast for sure. I don't know how they're going to play into it overall, right? Like having Fantastic Four, because this is really their last shot with Fantastic Four, because Fantastic Four, even though it's really the MCU and Marvel Studios' first shot with them. They've been around. That Tim Story one, I think the ones that you like.
Yeah, well, that was I said, I will just cast the original cast.
Bring Alba back. Yeah. So they're going to bring, they're really going to bring a new cast to it, and they have to, and a new director, and they're going to incorporate it into the overall MCU because they have to, and it's got to work this time. Because if the next movie doesn't pop people are going to just put it to rest.
And I think it's good to go with, not such an established actor in this point because it is something, the longevity of it. I think a lot of us pick people were like, ultra stab. We're like, oh, I like Tom Hardy for this. It was like, nah, 10 years later, you can't have Tom Hardy.
It's harder to do, yeah.
So I think it's good, and they've just, it might be kind of a good up and comer kind of a film.
I think that you have to be, because the Marvel has the luxury right now, because they're such an established brand, that they can put actors in it that aren't, like, this guy isn't from a popular Netflix series, but he's not a massive huge star, but this could make him a massive huge star, and that's what Marvel's able to do, because even you look at Guardians of the Galaxy, Chris Pratt was popular from certain things, but he wasn't a massive star.
Parks and Rec, but I never watched that. I kind of knew of him at the time.
He was the best friend in movies.
Yeah,
he was,
exactly.
and so then he became Chris Pratt. So
I need somebody to do that for me. Put me in something where hey, we'll give you the role, but you got to get totally jacked.
You got to be told that right, and that's what he did, and then he blew up, and that's what can happen in the Marvel machine, because you don't have to lead off of names in order to do it. I actually think it's more beneficial to take actors like that, because it's less. I mean, Benedict Cumberbatch was popular from Sherlock and these other things, but again, not a massive huge star like he is now. Shit, man, even Robert Downey Jr. had the name of Robert Downey Jr. obviously, but he was more of a kind of troubled actor, and then they put him in there, and then he blew up to superstardom. So, but that was a different circumstance altogether. But now that the machine is moving, they really can do some stuff, and I think that's what they're going to do here with Fantastic
What an
Four.
exciting terrifying thing to be. You've got your first Marvel, you're part of that machine, as you say, and you have to deliver, or
it's over. You're talking about Downey, or you're talking about this?
This new one. Downey was, great actor. You're like you said, troubled, but he was
established. Yeah, but that was a step. But had that movie failed, MCU doesn't exist today.
Yeah,
that was the first one.
Exactly.
That was the first one, and Favreau pretty much jump started that. So, what I also do think that this is a confirmation of when you're getting all these rumors now about the director. When anytime D23, or I shouldn't say it's just D23, but anytime there's some kind of con coming up, or when there's going to be announcements, news starts to leak early. And it always happens. And anytime it starts to leak this early, when it leaks in 6 months, 5 months, 4 months, you're like, okay, it could be anything. When it starts leaking in about a month in, or even a couple of weeks out, then I would tell you that it's probably going to be true, right? So this director that they're talking about, I bet you he's confirmed at D23. This dude now from he's going to be confirmed. And then you're going to start getting more leaks about who's going to play Sue Storm, who's going to play Johnny Storm. So all that that's going to be confirmed very soon, and I think a guarantee now at D23 that you're definitely getting this cast. So, are you excited about D23?
Oh yeah,
you can't
one of
wait.
My favorite Ds. Oh man, of all the Ds, that's my
all
favorite.
The Ds. It is. Hey honey, you want this D? Which one? D23.
D23.
That's it.
They had to go through a lot of Ds to get that.
Yeah, they took 23 of them.
I'm just bummed that no one I wouldn't think from the boys would be in this Fantastic Four, because
maybe not Fantastic Four, but I do think that Anthony Starr is going to show up in something.
Oh, he's got it.
Sorry, let's transition to that. So you're loving this show.
Oh yeah.
Stupid shot. Get this shot out of here. Stupid shot. So what do you think? Is season 3 one of your favorites now? People love season 3.
I love it. I don't know. I mean, they've been pretty even keeled for me.
Yeah.
I'm just I've been invested the whole time. I don't think there was any point where I kind of went oh, this is starting.
Kalani loving it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's one of these things where we have to go to bed.
Right.
And that's the sign of a great show for old people who need to sleep.
I know.
I'm up till 11:30 and I have to get. Oh no, that was a bad idea. So last night was one of those where it was I think actually we did House of Dragon. You did? Started that at 10.
Okay.
Because we were already.
You started House of the Dragon? That's intense to start at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Well, all right, we'll talk about that in a second. But let's talk. So the boys. So tell me. So how many episodes are you in? And give me your full-on review.
I am on season 3, episode 5 or 6. You know what?
Tell the people what you like.
What I like about it is that it's fucking insane. It just really is an insane show, but it is such a comment on the times we're in.
Yeah.
I mean, everything ties into that, and the superheroes are not so super, which is, I don't think I've seen anything like what they did, that Superman movie with the kid, like what if Superman was bad, kind of a thing. But no one's ever focuses on all of the shitty ones, basically. I mean, there's like
abusing their power, basically.
Abusing their power. All of them except for maybe, what, Starlight? I mean, like, she's the only good one. Like, then you go, they'll bait and switch it with somebody, maybe this person's turning around. Nope.
Right.
You know, and that
Herogasm. The Herogasm episode's insanity.
They had to put a disclaimer that said, like, we had to spend a hilariously amount of money or something like that to make this, but no animals were harmed or people, and everything did this in consent. It blows my mind. And like, I think we just finished on what I told you, where you find out a certain character.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And I was just like, oh God, keep going. So I don't know. Did you like did it end well for you?
Yeah.
I know they're doing a season 4. I did see a tweet about them happy to be there, which I was upset because there were certain characters.
You thought maybe it was going to.
Yeah.
So I loved season 3. I do. And I think that the difference with you and I, we're in the same boat, is that we watched these after they all came out, right? Mm-hmm. So season 3 had just finished, and I watched like 1, 2, and 3. I went boom, 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 boom. So we're watching them as like one massive film, right? And everybody else had like watched these episodes before, and then waited for a year, whatever it is, and then had a chance, and then watched season 3. And I think that when you're watching season 3 on a week-to-week after a year hiatus, it probably hits really, really hard because people loved this season, and I liked it a lot. I really did. I thought that coming off it can go back and forth, but I have like 1 and 2, which I loved, and then 3 right there. And I think I just watched, what the hell else was it? I can't remember. Something else I just watched. Either way, love the series. Can't wait for it to come back. But I'm
waiting to be disappointed. Like, I haven't. Every show disappoints you at some point. You know,
when it goes on too long.
Yeah, even Sopranos, there was like some little dip. But,
Yes.
No, I mean,
I know what you mean.
like a small dip. Yes. But like this one, I'm invested. I love it, and I think it's kind of fun being late to the game sometimes, and because I think it affirms that it's a great show too. Because if you're invested in when it happened, great. But to come in, maybe a couple years later and it's still hitting like this, I love it.
Well, speaking of that, you didn't get in late on House of the Dragon. You're catching up week by week. Yeah. All right, so episode 2, as you can see on this channel, if you've been here thus far, I did an immediate reaction. I'll be doing those every Sunday night, and then I do a spoiler review on Monday. That's why this episode is up a little late. While there's a new show up on Sundays, then this show will be up around 12 o'clock. So I had said that episode 2, and we'll probably do a couple spoilers here. So if you haven't seen it, just jump to the time code for the next segment. So we're going to get into a couple spoilers.
If you had that little thing, you could just push spoiler and pop up.
I know.
Isn't that cool?
Look again. Check out the Amazon list. Listen, so this episode to me was just absolutely incredible. I really, really loved what we're doing here on House of the Dragon. The first episode to me was great. Second episode set up every single scene to me was memorable. Every character had something to do. The politics are starting to play more. The idea, the building of each character and knowing what they're doing, and this like so much behind all of it, just so much. And Matt Smith as Daemon is just what a character already in 2 episodes, and the politics of the Targaryens trying to get together, the dragons flying around. Loved it. Absolutely loved this episode. What'd you think?
I loved it in a lot of ways, but I was also like, I don't know how to explain. It's like I was disappointed because there were a lot of things that they went with what I thought they were going to go with.
Okay, like what? We can spoil here.
Okay, well, who the king's going to marry.
Oh yeah.
And the fact that
that was set up for you to kind of know. And I don't think they were trying to surprise you.
I think Game of Thrones though is known for they go, oh, you think this? Screw you, they're gonna do. So that's where to me this doesn't play like the OG Game of Thrones, because they're not doing the thing, like they don't kill that king right away. They don't do the Stark opening where it's like, oh my god, you just killed the king in the matter of a couple episodes. I didn't want him to marry the 12-year-old.
I know what she's
I
doing, right.
assumed they were going to do that,
Yeah.
you know, and I was like, no, he's going to marry her. When she comes flying in with the dragon, I saw that. I'm just a lot smarter than most people.
Yeah. But I think they want you to. I don't think this is one of those shows where they're...
And maybe I got to get to a different mindset.
Yeah, because I think that what I really enjoy about this show is that, I mean, I love the original Game of Thrones and still do. I think it's one of the best shows on television ever. But especially the first few seasons. And where we were at that time period, the time of war, and how dreary it was, and people are killing each other left and right, I think it would have been repetitive if you did that again.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And I like the idea that even the whole idea of when the queen is picking that soldier, you know, and it's like her first thing, like, just have her pick a soldier. It doesn't matter because they're at a time of peace. So it's like, it doesn't matter who she picks. She pick whoever she wants. And she's like, no, I want to pick the guy who's actually fought.
Yeah.
Because everybody else is just fighting in tournaments. Like, this guy can protect my dad. Like, that kind of stuff. And the idea of, yeah, you knew she was going to show up, but you also wanted to see what was important about that scene was not the fact that she showed up. It was the fact of what Damon did on that bridge. And when he looked and he said, when he's looking at her, and she goes, look, you can be over with all this. It showed, I think that scene was more about about not the predictability of whether she was going to show up or not. It was how he was going to react. And inside of that, him saying, okay, look, my family's a bunch of dicks sometimes, and they've left me, but it's still my family. I'm not going to kill my cousin. My brother, like, and again, he does it again at the end when the guy is like, when Damon takes a shot at his brother and goes, yeah, my brother's not really good at being a king. And then the other dude says something, he goes, shut your fucking mouth. Yeah. I can say shit. You can't say anything. That to me was why this episode was so great, because it defined the characters like from top to top.
And I completely agree with you in that. Like, I didn't want to make it sound like I didn't enjoy the episode. I think it was, I really was invested in it. Yeah. But the one thing for me is that I think that people need to have the mindset maybe that this isn't your grandfather's Game of Thrones. This is it's a different show, which is great.
Right.
Because maybe we don't want the same thing where it's just like Red Wedding all over the place. You know?
Remember, you didn't, and Red Wedding, I don't think it was till like season 2 or something too. So you had a chance to build all the way through. Game of Thrones was so fresh and new, you didn't know about it. Like, now we've been to Westeros, we know it already. So you like you said, you're expecting the craziness of that to happen, and I guess I can understand if you're going to be disappointed by it. But for me, it's like I'm more invested in like the characters themselves and everything too. And if I can predict a couple moments here and there, what's going to happen of her showing up, or I think they're telling you from the second what it's more about. Again, instead of the predictability, like you said, of him choosing the best friend, it's more about the cunning of Otto Hightower, of sending his daughter in to know, like, what we thought on last week was, he's just going to have his daughter go pleasure the king. Yeah. But in reality, it's spend time with him, get him attached to you, and then guess what? When he should be making this choice for the Targaryens, maybe, now we're in line.
Yeah,
and
you've actually got him.
Your kid is probably going to be the king now.
Yeah.
And so Hightower's making moves, and Hightower's making a lot of different moves, and he's trying to, like, maneuver his way through. So he's got a little bit of a Littlefinger thing going on, I think, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, and again, it's I love the storyline. I love everything. It's just, it was one of those things where I just kind of have to go like, okay, this is going to be more maybe for the time being about the characters, about the politics, and not so much, I mean, there really wasn't no action scene really in this.
I mean, the major action scene was, I mean, they showed Crabface McGillicuddy taking people out.
That was, I did. Yeah, that was a fun but horrible.
That was horrifying. So like that stuff, the dragon showing up for sure, but I actually liked that they didn't feel like they trusted in their story, right? They trusted in their characters to say, because in the first episode, like I said in my spoiler review, the first episode was meant to say this: okay, we know that you're all tuning in and you want to see what kind of Game of Thrones this is. So in order to keep you and understand that this is going to be that kind of Game of Thrones at times, here's some extreme violence.
We'll chop some dicks.
We're gonna chop some dick off. We're gonna there's some brutal scenes, obviously, from the birthing scene. There's backstabbing. There's sex. There's all of this. It's all there. But now you're invested. Okay, great. Now we're gonna get to what this story is really about, and that is the politics and the character and the story. Because I thought it was more fascinating, and I loved episode 1. Thought episode 2 was far superior. But now, as Brett mentioned before, you see that gentleman in the back?
Hey.
Tony Soprano. Pie oh my. Sopranos is one of the best series of all time. And I, as you know, am a massive fan of that show. Now, even though my following guest was in The Sopranos and won an Emmy for her role as Adrienne Lacerva in The Sopranos. She's also in a new movie called One Way with Machine Gun Kelly and Kevin Bacon, and an opportunity to be able to speak with Drea de Matteo and have a conversation about all of those things. And I would like to show that to all of you right now. Please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Drea de Matteo. Okay, what's going on, everybody? As I mentioned in my throw here, I'm stoked. I am stoked. You know, in general, how big of a Sopranos fan I am, and obviously. But I'm also very excited because I've been wanting to talk to my guest for a while. And you know her, she's an Emmy award-winning actress. You know her from Sons of Anarchy, obviously, Adrienne Lacerva from The Sopranos, but she's starring in the new thriller from director Andrew Baird, and that is One Way. And it's also starring Colson Baker, Travis Fimmel, Kevin Bacon. I mean, come on, this cast is crazy, by the way. It's a really crazy cast, and it's a thriller, and I love that just in the second this movie starts, I know exactly the type of character she's playing, and that is the one and only Drea de Matteo. How are you?
Good, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
I love your painting behind your face.
I told you before we started filming, I said, I want to let you know, I didn't just like go out and buy this. I've had this hanging in the wall, so it wasn't like some weirdo. It's like, oh, I got to put it in there. Look. Yes. So anyway, yeah, it's a crazy story. What happened was I rewatched the whole series again right before the new movie came out, and I was like, I got to do it. And I looked online and I saw it, and they sent me one, and then actually what they did is they sent me two, and I had two of them. And they're massive.
Is it a poster or is it canvas?
No, it's a canvas. It's straight up canvas.
You know what? On your second one, you should get them to have me riding the horse. I mean,
no.
Why the fuck not? Huh?
Why not?
Come on, cheers.
Why not? Cheers to you as well. So yeah, I want to talk about Whitestone and everything in a second, but I want to talk about the movie. Let's talk about One Way. I like right away that it starts out, you're a bad motherfucker in this one. Like,
I know. I didn't expect to be playing a role like that. Everything that usually comes my way, I'm usually crying, running, getting killed, being choked out. So this was nice.
Yeah, not this time. I mean, right from the second, and you know what's funny though? From it's like the first shot when you see when your character appears, you just know. I'm like, oh, she's not a good person. Like right away, and that's a testament to you as well. Like I knew right away, like who you were in that role. So tell me about preparing for Vic, and honestly, from watching those types of characters and being around the gangster world for as long as you were, and in the crime world, whether it was Sopranos, Sons of Anarchy, all that. Like, did you take stuff from your past and bring it into this? From stuff that you had seen and researched from things that you've worked on in the past.
Yeah, I guess so, and I guess just being a gangster single mom, I feel like women in general are just gangster goddesses, period. Because it's my whole thing. I am a gangster goddess. This is our that's our brand and everything. But it's mostly because women today are just up against so much shit all the time. Even though there's a whole feminist. I'm not a feminist or any of that kind of stuff. But just in general, it's a tough place. So where do I pull from? Yeah, I can pull from the men that I've learned from insofar as the gangster world. My family was in the goddamn mafia.
Yeah. So
no, it's more coming from women who don't feel like they need to make a giant fuss to get what they need done. I mean, my character's quiet. She's not losing her cool over anything. She's pretty damn quiet. I almost was afraid that it was too quiet, but this is the way we wanted to go. But so yeah, I did pull from mostly watching a snake.
Yeah, you definitely get that feel from it, from the way she's very, as you said, she's cool, she's calculated, which I liked a lot. And what I also liked is the fact that I had a chance to see you with Reese Corro, who again from Entourage, another one of my favorite shows, and watching you guys together was pretty great as well. He's like your right-hand man. That was awesome. Had you guys worked together before?
I love him so much. It's not even funny. We make jokes that I have to bring him wherever I go now, because we did a show called Paradise City together.
Okay.
Where I was working with him. And I'm like, this guy's so familiar to me. And I even said to him, why are you so familiar to me finally? And I was like, it's fucking Billy Walsh. My favorite. The only reason I ever watched Entourage was to watch his Medellin story.
Oh, so good.
So I love him so much. And then I did a show called Million Little Things, and they asked me who I'd like to play my husband. I said, what about Reese Poirot? They brought him in to play my husband.
Oh, wow.
Then he texted me before doing this project and said to me, yo, I'm coming to Georgia. And then he put me on a thread with him and Travis. And I was like, why would you do that small part? He's like, because Travis is my buddy. So, and then they started texting me on the way there, and I was like, oh no, this is going to be mayhem.
Was it mayhem on the set?
No, but it was fun to be with Travis.
Of course.
I got there the night of the wrap party.
Oh, okay.
I was shooting at the very end of the film, and we actually had the wrap party the day that I had gotten there. So I got to meet everybody that way. But yeah, we had a good time that night.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You know,
well, what
in the height of COVID, in the height of the pandemic and everything, and everyone's like, you know, pulling off their masks and dancing and singing. I was like, oh boy, this doesn't exist here.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, especially now, the way people just want to go back and live again, you know, right? And it's like, and go back.
And they should.
Yeah, and
they should.
And they should. I'm with you. And but it's also, you know, watching this movie, it reminded me, there's a movie that Tom Hardy did a little while ago called Locke. And it's just essentially him in a car the whole time. And that's a lot what Colson Baker's doing in this movie. He's on a bus, and and it's like this continuous journey. And I like smaller movies like this that have to explore that kind of, because you get so much from him inside of this with the relationship that's happening with your character, obviously, and we know that there's a history with you guys, and then there's obviously stuff going on with Kevin Bacon, and is that what kind of attracted you to the story from reading it, was that it was this smaller kind of character piece?
I'm going to be really honest with you, and I've said this 10 times while I've been doing press, and it's almost embarrassing, but I'll say it again.
Yeah.
Because I should tell you the truth. I didn't care about the script or anything. I hadn't worked in a while. We were all in this lockdown. The script came across my desk. It said that Travis Fimmel was in it. I didn't even look to see who the rest of the cast was. And I had been watching Raised by Wolves. And I was like, I'll travel anywhere to put a gun to that motherfucker's head. So that was it. And then my agent was like, you should read it if the director wants to talk. I was like, yeah, whatever. You know?
I'll do it.
And then I skimmed through it, and I was like, I'm in. I'll take it. I don't really care. It's a great cast, and I care more about the company I keep than the quality of the project, because you don't know how the project's going to turn out once you get there and start working.
Right.
I know the director was a cool, visually pleasing director, so I knew I liked that his stuff was going to be very gritty and Abel Ferrara-esque and noir-esque kind of. So I was in. And then when I finally realized what was going on and what the movie was about, and then I said to my son, who's this Machine Gun Kelly kid? You know, I was like, all right, this is cool. I'm going to do this.
Yeah, I mean, look, I love that honesty. Thank you for being that honest too. A lot of times, because especially, I think that's a good gamble to take when you're familiar with you know, like you said with Travis, and you're like, well, I just want to work with the dude, and that makes sense to me. So let's sign me up. Plus the fact of what you're saying there with where we were in the world, and everybody's like that at that point. It's just like, fuck, man, I gotta work, I gotta do something. And
yeah, I just want to get out of here.
I don't blame you. Are you in the East Coast?
No, I'm on the West Coast.
Oh, okay, me too.
We're leaving here. We've had enough.
Yeah.
After this whole lockdown and everything, that we know is the best place to be because it's beautiful.
Yeah.
But the city is off its rocker right now, man.
That's great.
Yeah,
good.
So we're out of here.
I'm glad to hear it. But yeah, look, the movie, it's called It's One Way. It is Colson Baker, is Drea de Matteo, is some Kevin Bacon. I mean, that was that. I mean, I remember growing up. We were just talking about it before we started recording about. Drea's from Whitestone. I'm from Bayside, and I remember being in school and just Footloose, man. Just remember, even years later, just Footloose and watching those movies and Quicksilver and all. It's like he was like the guy back in that time, you know. So that must have been crazy working with him as well.
It's a rite of passage. I had to say yes. I was like, Kevin Bacon, are you fucking kidding me? But my 6 degrees of separation are going straight to 1 right now. But the funny thing about Footloose, someone mentioned this to me yesterday. When I bought this house, the pool on this house has a music note on the step. Yeah. And the guy I bought it from was one of the writers of the song Footloose.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. So the realtor was like, yeah, he put this music note on the step of the pool because he said music bought the pool. And Footloose was huge.
Yeah.
It was Kenny Loggins, but I'm sure that this guy who I bought this house from was all, because they moved and bought a bazillion-dollar house after this one.
Oh man, that's a cool story. Well, that's and just to work with, he's just got. It's funny because there's one scene and he shows up and he just has that swagger about him. It's the same swagger, like that strut that he's got since he's had since whenever. He just got that Kevin Bacon strut, and it's a real. I'm telling you, it's a really exciting cast. So you lucked out by just saying yes. I'll tell you that.
I know. I felt really privileged that Andrew chose me. I was like, wait a minute, really? You sure you want? I'm a TV girl. You really want me to come to your indie with all these cool cats? I was like, sign me up. I'm coming.
It's funny though. You say that where it's you're a TV girl. The Sopranos though did something now. When you look at streaming today, like everything, whether it's stuff on Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, whatever it is, everything's like so cinematic now. The Sopranos was really the first one. It really was. I remember I was in college, and I remember seeing when the first episode came out, and I was like, okay, because I'm like everyone else, Goodfellas and all those, I love those movies, but I was like, how are they going to do that on like TV? And then it's like, well, fuck you, this is how we're going to do it, and they did it. So you guys did it so many times over, but that's got to train you as far as it's TV, but like you don't get any more cinematic than that show.
No, it was beautiful. It was the story, man. It started with the writers, to be honest with you. And then those directors came in and executed their vision. It was so beautifully written. And then we set the tone for TV after that. We set the tone for films. I mean, most film stars want to be on a TV show right now. Yep. Because the TV world is so, I mean, look, now we're oversaturated, but it's definitely, it was a beautiful show, man. I
know. And then, and I just wanted to, again, to you, I was going to make sure that I told you at some point, my heart goes out to you and for the loss of Tony Sirico this year, obviously. And I know that, for everybody who worked with him, and I just, I didn't know the man, but he was one of my favorites. So again, my heart goes out to all you guys for the loss.
He was a good one, man, for sure. He was the first guy to make me feel comfortable on set. When I met him, he's looking at me, he goes, "You're so beautiful, but Maron, you got Clark Gable ears." Clark Gable ears. I fucking started crying. Not laughing, crying. I was brand new. I was just a little kid there on set. I was like, I got big fucking ears.
Oh man! So that was your first introduction to him, and
yes, and I loved him so much. Because he was like, "Oh no, I don't want you to feel bad." I'm like, "I know I got big ears."
Oh man, that's. I don't know, and I'm sure I've seen interviews. So I didn't realize you said in the beginning that your family had those ties as well. Did you get any shit for being on that show because of that?
Well, honestly, I never. I didn't. I was so not in touch with those aspects of my family back then. Yeah. I knew about it, but I kind of let it go. But now that it's years later, a lot of people are dead now, and it's okay. But there's a lot of ties.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Way more ties. I might be making a TV show about my family's.
Oh wow.
Right now, it's I think we're due for another semi-mafia-esque show, but it's more about my great grandmother.
Okay.
Had more dirt on East Harlem than anybody. Than any mafioso. She had dirt on the mafia too.
Shit. Well, that's what I was going to ask you. I was going to say, would you ever want to return to that world? But you just answered my question. That's cool.
Oh,
I'd love to see
you return. I don't want to play in any other world. I've decided.
Yeah.
I enjoyed my ride after Sopranos, but nothing ever felt like the Sopranos. So if I had my choice at this point, it would be to go back to something in that realm again.
Yeah, and I think that was and so even though, like I said, with this movie, you get to see a different side of you where you get to play a kind of a tougher a boss, and there's that edge to you. But I think that the other thing that I also love that you do is that you can see there's something about what you did with Adriana, and like you reminded me of just people that I grew up with, and like it was that she was tough. She was, and the stuff that always got me, that seems so real to me, is when her and Christopher were getting into fights, and like they would slap the shit out of each other, but like she was just coming right back. And there was one time when he was all fucked up, and he was starting to go for real, and she's just like, she's putting her hand. It was such a, I felt for her, and it was what you did there. I just wanted to say everything that you did was so brilliant in that series, and it was thank you for it. Honestly, thank you.
a lot of those scenes actually, we went for it for real.
Yeah.
And Michael didn't want to. You know, there was one time where he was carrying me across the room by my hair, and the harness on my back broke because he was using a harness.
Shit.
And it broke, and I fell. So I go, just keep going. I don't want to fucking. We can't just yell cut and regroup and get a new harness. We got to go. I'm in the moment now. Let's do this. He's like, no, I can't. I was like, fucking do it. Same thing with the choke, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, if you don't fucking put a little bit of pressure on my neck, I'm pushing up.
Wow.
That's me pushing up, like choking myself out. So at least it registers on camera. Like, you know, when you're young, you want shit to be like real, man. Now that I'm 50, I might be like, get me that tear stick. Make my eyes bulge in post.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, right. Well, especially, you're right. When you're younger and you're doing those things and you're making a name for yourself, you just want to push it to the limit, you know, and do everything you can. And not to say that you don't later on, but like you said, you've earned your stripes at this point, you know, like the things that you've done. But let's talk about it. As you said, I'm very curious about the stuff you talk with the making a show, and is that the next thing you really want to do? Are you going to take that out for like meetings? Is it something that's already kind of happening? Like, how far in the process are we with this?
I mean, years ago, right after Sopranos, HBO bought it in the room.
Oh, okay, great.
Usually happen. Yeah. The story was that special. They knew I was taking other meetings at that time, so they didn't want me to do it. So they stopped me in my tracks. But then they made Boardwalk Empire, which I totally understood.
Right.
They had to pick one period piece, and they went with Scorsese. I mean, I would too. So they gave it back to me. And then I sort of, I just kept working on other projects. I never revisited it. But my great-grandmother was a midwife, so she was getting abortions.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And that show was kind of untouchable for a while. Now I think that there's a big group of people that be like, guys, let's make that show now. Right. So but the show's not about that. The way the Sopranos wasn't about the mafia. It's about a family. And this just happens to be what they do for a living. And then all of the stories that come up in that area. So this show is like a cross between Sopranos and 6 Feet Under.
Oh, cool.
It's a revolving door of people coming in and out of that house. And there's just all this crazy shit happening. It's more about how crazy my family was than it is about what they were doing. My family was off the charts. Crazy.
Yeah.
Interesting. So it makes for good TV. So yes, I'm revisiting it at the moment a little bit, but right now we're really working on, I have a perfume line out right now with my partner from my podcast, Chris. So we have a Gangster Goddess perfume.
I saw that on your Twitter. Yeah, that's great.
So all the little girls that are watching, look, there it is. They created a scent for my armpit smell.
Where can
if anybody wants to smell like my freaking pits, come on, Gangster Goddess, number 866.
I think it's better than what Gwyneth Paltrow was doing. So there you go.
It's way different than Gwyneth Paltrow. This is for the dirty broads, the dirty hippie broads, the queens chicks that are stirring the sauce at home.
I love that.
Sausage for their husbands. You know, come and get a Gangster Goddess bottle. Plus, we have a contest going right now where you guys can Zoom with us and you win a bottle for your best friend.
So where can they find it? Where can they find it again?
You just go to my Instagram.
Okay.
My Instagram or Gangster Goddess Instagram.
I love that. Okay.
We don't have a podcast at the moment anymore, but we're still branding all our little things. We have our booze. Every now and then we put something new out. Right now we have our little perfume. Okay,
well, I will post Drea's Instagram in the link in the description of the video here too, so go and check that out as well. And again, everybody, just a reminder, so One Way, it comes out, it's in theaters and on digital on demand on September 2nd, so just make sure that you go and check that out. But the other thing I was going to ask you, what's funny is that you posted on your Twitter, I looked at that too, where Jamie Lynn Sigler was she had done that commercial about where she was driving in the car as Tony, and you kind of retweeted it, and there was a lot of talk afterwards too, like where we are. I know that a lot of people, and I would love to see the young Tony series, but she started talking. They were asking about her. I can't remember what show she was on, but I saw a clip that she was going to do, that she would want to do like Meadow grown up and maybe kind of take over. Is that something you think David Chase would ever do? Ever?
I don't know.
Probably not, right?
I think that The Many Saints in Newark was not the best attempt at a film. It would have been a great attempt as a TV show. And I think I heard rumors that David might be doing that as a TV show. That seems like it's more up David's alley than the show focused on Meadow. But I have no idea. I mean, that would be crazy if they did. I mean, I would watch anything with my little Jamie in it.
Yeah, I mean, same.
I mean, were people talking about that happening when that commercial aired?
Yeah, that was talking. There was talking. But as you were saying, there was more. There was a lot of talk, obviously, from after the movie about a Young Tony series, and then I was kind of squashed, and all that stuff happened. But it's something else I was going to make sure to bring up to you before They I don't know if She-Hulk is a show that's on Disney Plus now, and I think they're coming out. I've got to see the first 4 episodes, and this could be a spoiler to some people who are watching, but I don't know if you know this or not. But they actually mentioned there's this whole angle where the character spoils some of the Sopranos and they're like, oh, and they're both crying, and Wang from Doctor Strange is crying, and she's like, I can't believe they killed Adriana. I can't believe they did it.
When we did Sons of Anarchy, one of the lines on the show is, don't make me Adriana you. I was like, really, Kurt? We're going to do this now? And he's like, yes, we are. It happens so much on other TV shows.
Yeah.
It's kind of my favorite thing in the world because I'm like an old broad now, So
no.
knowing that I did that a long time ago, and that's me, and it's fun for my kids,
Yeah.
I haven't seen She-Hulk. But Reese, were you asking me about Reese Cuero?
Yeah, because he's in it. He's in it. His wife. His wife,
he's
yeah.
in it, and it's his wife's show.
Yep.
So I'm excited to check it out because that was a big undertaking.
Yeah, it was. It absolutely was. But like I said, I think next time, if you're ever around, we're able to get you in studio, I'd love to. Again, it was a pleasure to talk to you. It really was. I've been wanting to talk to you for a very long time. I think that what you guys accomplished in that show, what you've accomplished so far, I'm very excited for what you're telling me about with your potential series about your family. I think that sounds very intriguing. I'm excited, and I'm excited for people to see One Way. They should check it out and look at this side of you because I hadn't seen that side of you, and like I said, it's something pretty special. Like right away, I was like, oh, I knew exactly who you were from the first shot. From the first shot, I knew exactly what you were going to do. So, again, thank you for everything that you've given us, and I appreciate you taking the time today.
I appreciate it because I don't know how to be mean. I don't know how to do it.
Well, no, that's not true. You clearly do know how to be mean. You did.
Okay, good because I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. You do it. You do it well. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, it's Drea de Matteo. Check her out. Make sure and check out her brand and check out everything on Instagram. And get her perfume. And check out those mugs. You sell those mugs also?
Oh, the mugs. Yeah, you can get that on the Gangster Goddess site.
Awesome.
That's on Gangster Goddess.
Well, it's a pleasure. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me today, and I look forward to talking to you again.
Okay, man. Take care. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. All right. So, she's the best. She's from Flushing. Well, excuse me, Whitestone. And you could just tell, very easy to talk to. I wish she was doing a bunch of press, so she came in like 5-10 minutes after, which is absolutely fine. It happens all the time. But I had a thing that I had set up. I wanted to talk to her for like 40 minutes.
Yeah, is that always tough for you when you got somebody there and then they're rushed off and you're just feeling like, oh,
she wasn't rushed this time.
Crap.
She came in a little later, but unfortunately, I had another thing that I had to get to right away. And I even went over a little bit because I didn't want to cut it off with her because I had her for half an hour, but I had to cut the interview to like 20 minutes because I had to get to this thing, and I was like, fuck, because I wanted to talk to her forever. She's just cool as hell. But besides that, like, wanted to talk, and I love the idea. So she, as you guys saw in the interview, she talked about how in her side of her family there was mafioso, and she had pitched this thing to HBO, and they had bought it at one point, and then I guess there's talks again about her doing this series based off of her family. So I think that's something I really, really want to see. I'm excited about it. So again, thank you to Drea de Matteo. Make sure you check out One Way. That's coming out this week, man.
My grandpa told me that my great-grandmother was the lady in red, but he drank a lot.
He drank a lot. Makes sense.
He told me that one time.
Hey,
Chicago guy, he's like, your great-grandma.
What did he say?
Great-grandmother was the lady in red.
Oh, yeah? How do you know that?
You know, what was that, with the machine gun? What is that? Do you remember?
Schindler's List?
No, it was a famous mafia hit. And it
yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I was like, that's
not the one in Matrix.
Okay, not that one. That was Matrix. Who's calling me? Someone calling me?
Hello?
I don't know anymore. All right. So besides that, we did. So again, thank you to Drea. And we've done almost everything thus far. But as I promised in the beginning of this, once again, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, ladies and gentlemen, if you are able to, get back to the beginning, our list is, this is our studio. That's the white shot. We're trying to make it do a whole bunch of new things. Got those lights, got the stream deck, all the stuff that we're hoping to get. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning of the show, if you haven't saw the whole show, like some people, they ask all the time, what can we do to help? If you can, if you want to go to the Amazon list and you want to donate to the show, you can. But it's not something that is absolutely necessary. We are going to get those things eventually. Now, the question is, does it happen right away, or does it happen throughout the course of a couple of months? Either way, it's like adding to a puzzle. So we're excited about it.
You know what I say to that? Well, Kristian's just begging for things. No. He just said.
You're going to get that regardless. You're going to get it. It's like, oh, here you go. You need this. It's like, no. What I'm saying is, if you choose to, if you choose to help, then you can. If not, it is on our list. We made this massive list, and we want to make sure that we can get to those.
It's like
things.
Hicks's bit about but I don't want to burn a flag. No.
Right.
They're not saying you have to burn a flag. They're just saying if
you
want to. But I don't want to. No.
Yeah, right. I
don't want to burn a flag. Then you fucking
I know. You get it all the time. But again, if you choose to, the links in the description. There's an iCard.
You're a better person if you do.
I know.
No.
No. All right, listen. 9 seasons. 1 spectacular finale, the Schmoedown Spectacular 7. It is October 1st, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. Very emotional day for us all when we shot it. We're excited about it. We're excited for you to see it. It is on the Schmoedown Archive channel. You can make sure you go over there. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure that you do, because that is where you're going to be able to find the Schmoedown Spectacular. So let's announce some of these matches coming up. Now, I had mentioned before that we were going to get a Star Wars Championship match. If you've been paying attention on Patreon, then you'll know that we're getting the Dimalantas. Andrew Dimalanta, the former Movie Trivia Schmoedown Star Wars champion of the world, defends against his wife. Wow. Schmoedown Spectacular of last year, Star Wars competitor Nikki Dimalanta going for that championship. Can she win her first, or will Andrew, the Hunter Dimalanta, pick up the second Star Wars championship and end the Schmoedown Spectacular as the Star Wars champion? Who will end as the champion? We will find out on October 1st. All right. So here's an interesting one. So I'm going to tell you guys a little. There's going to be some behind the curtain stuff on this one as well. We tried to get some matches that I was hoping to get. And I'll tell you some of the ones that we had got and then didn't work out. I had Mance and Roca 3 locked. It was ready to go. They both agreed. Mance agreed. Roca agreed, and we were ready to go. Unfortunately and fortunately for John Roca got a really good opportunity on the day that we shot the show, and he was bummed. He was really bummed, and he called and he let me know. He's like, "Look, man, I got to take this gig. It's work." And I said, and I think he thought I was going to be upset with him, and I said, "It's work.
Yeah, I
understand." So unfortunately, we couldn't get that match, but we got some great ones. Another one that we almost got the Patriots coming back, but there's other things that we just couldn't make it happen. But what I will say is what we were able to do. Now, Griffin Newman is not able to be at the Spectacular, but I didn't want to punish King Khan. So Shazam is going to get another chance at the title, and it is King Arthur versus Shazam. However, King Khan, very similar to what happened when Shazam won the title against Odd Couple, King Khan can pick. The difference is that I think at the time, Jeff Snyder had the opportunity to pick anybody he wanted. He picked Janine, who was on his faction, and what a great decision that was. She played lights out. King Khan can pick anyone from the Schmoedown, anyone that he wants. Could be anybody ever. And he will choose that person. Should King Arthur win, it'll be a defense for King Arthur. And if somebody comes on in who is winning that title, it'll be count as a win for a title win for that particular person, whoever comes in. So, and of course, if Shazam wins, they will be the only team in Schmoedown history to win the championship 3 times. Teams championship 3 times. The great William Bibbiani and the kid Brendan Meyer looking to win that championship to get their automatic rematch from losing the championship to King Arthur. So that is going to be the big match for the team's championship. All right, so here's a fun one. This one's going to actually start off all spectacular. We wanted to bring back some legends. We wanted to have some people that were in the past, had been there before, people who had kind of helped us out, started some legends, if you will, and then some people from rookies, not rookies, but people who recently, I think, current stars. And look at this. This is going to start us all off. This is going to be the first match of the night, and it's going to be Who's the Boss reteaming with Tom Dagnino, Bobby Finstock as their manager, going up against the undefeated, the ruling class with the Flirt and Flaus.
Wow.
Yeah, did you know Flirt and Flaus is going to be there?
No.
It's amazing, right?
Look at that. He put it all on
He
that
really
day.
did. That's looking good. So what a match that is. You're going to have Who's the Boss, who was a team that was just on fire back in the day, and they worked really well when they were together with Tom Dagnino. Can they capture the magic one more time against the red hot, the ruling class was the Flirt and Flaus? It's Flaus versus Gucci. It's Who's the Boss versus the ruling class. Whitney Seibold, Ty Lieberman, Ben Bateman, Mark Riley. Ben Bateman trying to pick up. Now, here's an interesting fact. If Ben Bateman wins in that match and Shazam loses, and Ben Bateman will have the most wins in Schmoedown history.
Wow.
Well, the same could be said for William Bibbiani. Bibbiani wins and Bateman loses. Bibbiani will have the most wins. So very interesting already. And that's only 3 matches in. That is only 3 matches in, and we ain't done. Because the IG championship is going to be on the line. Now, as I mentioned earlier, a couple of bummer things that had happened. We lost the Manson-Roca match. Patriots weren't able to get the Patriots to compete. And one of the other things that was a real bummer from when we were filming, Mike Kalinowski was not doing well. He wasn't feeling well. That's why he's been out of Sith for a little bit, and he hasn't done something. He was supposed to be part of this next match, but unfortunately, when we filmed, he was still ill. I mean, he's better now, but he was still ill at the time. But the Intergeekdom Championship will be on the line, and it will be a fatal 4 for the championship. And you've got the champion, Robert the Spider Parker, versus Chandru the Chosen Dandapani, Kevin the Smasher Smets, and returning the amazing Mara Kanopik. What a battle that is going to be. You have some of the best Robert Parker, current champion, TKO'd Smets to get the championship. Smets, 2-time champion. Mara Kanopik, 2-time champion. Chandru, one of the only Intergeekdom champions to defend the championship. There is so much history, and who will be walking away as the last Intergeekdom champion? All 4 will be battling it out on October 1st at the Schmoedown Spectacular. So that is a hell of a match so far. So you've got, just to recap again, what we have thus far. Schmoedown Spectacular Star Wars Championship. Dimalantes going out against each other. Shazam versus King Arthur and a partner to be named later. Who is the Boss? With Tom Dagnino against the ruling class and the Flaus, and the Intergeekdom Championship of the world on the line. Now, there are 2 more matches left, but I'm going to give you the main event first. For the end of the night, the Movie Trivia Schmoedown Championship of the World. The inglorious one, Sam Levine, the 2-time Movie Trivia Schmoedown champion against the 5-time Movie Trivia Schmoedown champion, the GOAT, Dangerous Dan Murrell, head to head. Now, if Sam Levine wins this, he'll be the only champion in Schmoedown history to defend the championship 3 times. If Dan Murrell does it, he'll have won the championship 6 times. It is the only main event that would have felt right to end it all. Schmoedown Spectacular main event. Sam Levine, Dangerous Dan Murrell. what an ending to that night it will be. But it is not the last. It is not the. It is. There are not only 5 matches that will end it. But I had to save this one because I was very happy to get this match. This upcoming match that I'm about to show you, I didn't know if I was going to be able to get it or not. I had to make some phone calls and I had to see if it was something that didn't want to pressure anybody into it at all. I just wanted to ask the question and gave some time for people to say yes or no and whether or not they wanted to do it. And the answer was yes. And ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to say that on October 1st, for the last Schmoedown Spectacular, you will see 2 absolute legends going head-to-head. Rachel, the Crusher Cushing-Levine, makes her triumphant return to the Movie Trivia Schmoedown in the singles division against the former Movie Trivia Schmoedown champion, Lady Justice Marisol McKee. Of course, Rachel, the Crusher Cushing, had done it all. She was the first woman to ever win a championship, with her and Clark Wolf winning the team's championship. And then, of course, Rachel Cushing, she won the team championship twice. And then, of course, she won the Inner Geekdom championship, defeating Mike Kalinowski in one of the best matches ever. She'd done it all. She had made it to the singles championship. She was one of the absolute best. And everywhere, she was Schmoedown royalty. And she paved the way for people like Marisol McKee. And what a road and what a bunch of accomplishments Lady Justice Marisol did in her short career. In her sophomore season, she won the championship. She beat Ethan Irwin for the title. She defended it in New York at a live event against Chance Ellison, and she defended it at the Spectacular against Griffey Newman, and she battled Sam Levine to an absolute... She went perfect and only lost in the speed round and lost the championship to Sam Levine. So it is a 3-round battle, and it is absolutely incredible to be able to say that Rachel Cushing is coming back to play Marisol McKee. It reminds me of like when Hulk Hogan and the Rock went up against each other at WrestleMania, and you just get to see a legend of the past against a legend of today, and so I should say both legends in general playing against each other. So let's recap it one more time for everybody. The Dimilantis for the Star Wars Championship. Shazam against King Khan and a partner of his choice. Who's the Boss with Dagnino in his corner in their corner against the ruling class was the Fleur-Tanflaus. Inner Geekdom Championship 4-way. The champion Robert Parker defends against Smets, Kanapik, Chandru Dandapani. Rachel Cushing against Marisol McKee. And in the main event, Sam Levine against Dangerous Dan Murrell. That is the Schmoedown Spectacular 7. That is October 1st. 2022, everybody. The last one. 9 seasons, 1 spectacular finale. It is going to be on the Movie Trivia Schmoedown Archives channel. The link is in the description for that channel. The iCard is right there. Make sure you subscribe. It is free. It is not on Patreon. It is where you can find it. Make sure you go and check it out. But good card, huh, Brett?
That's insane.
That's a good card.
Yeah.
That's a good card. I was proud of that card. I mean, like I said, there was a couple other ones that I was working on, but I love where we wound up, and I can tell you after filming it and everything too, it's a lot of fun. It's an emotional night, and I think people are really, really going to be happy with what we got here. So, but that's it, everybody. That's the supersized episode. Once again, check it out. We have if you want to check out the Amazon link, it's in the link in the description. We also have the Patreon that's going up. That is going to be happening. The Patreon, September 1st is when everything transfers over. It's going to be the big thing. I put up all the new tiers. People seem to be very excited about the new tiers and everything that we have going on over there now. So you'll be able to see. I'm going to go a little bit more into the details in those coming up soon. But Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere podcasts are found, make sure you do that. Thanks again. Thanks to you guys. Thank you to Brett Sheridan. Thanks to everybody. And we'll see you on the flip side, everybody. It is Dragons. Big thing. All right, everybody. Enjoy yourselves. We'll see you next time.